Good afternoon. My name is Jennifer Sonage. I am a senior associate attorney here at Bross & Frankel, and I am back to talk to you about Agent Orange. With me today is a very special guest, my dog. My dog's name is Bruce, and he actually has diabetes, which is one of the most common conditions that we see here at Bross & Frankel, specifically connected to Agent Orange. What we're going to talk about today is not only Agent Orange exposure and the presumptive conditions, but additional secondary conditions that some people may not think about when they think about service-connected issues. So let's start by talking about what Agent Orange is. Agent Orange was a dioxin that was used by the military for the control of vegetation in Vietnam. It was named Agent Orange after the orange band that was around the storage barrel. This is, as I stated earlier, it's a chemical called dioxin. Dioxin is a compound that's made from burning chlorine, carbon, and hydrogen. They are known environmental pollutants, and they belong to the so-called dirty dozen, a group of dangerous chemicals known for persistent organic pollutants. The reason why Agent Orange became such a problem for our military members is that the half-life in the body is approximately 7 to 10 years. So they don't break down in the body, they kind of just stick around and cause all kinds of mayhem. So people that were generally exposed to Agent Orange, anybody really with boots on the ground during the Vietnam conflict between 1962 and 1975, individuals who were on there's possible exposure for the C-123 flight, for ground maintenance, aeronautical crew members, based on the herbicide residue on the C-123 planes flying around during and after the Vietnam War. There's also presumed exposure for operating in the demilitarized zone of Korea between 1967 and 1971. There's presumed exposure for any individuals who are at the Royal Thai Military Base in Thailand from 1962 or to 1976. And then, of course, there's blue water exposure, which requires you to have been in the waterways at least no more than 12 miles off the shore. So that's where Agent Orange was. That's what Agent Orange is. So let's talk about some of the health impacts of Agent Orange. It's just not just diabetes that's presumed to be linked to Agent Orange exposure. There are actually a host of medical conditions that the VA and the Department of Defense have said are actually linked to the time in the military. That includes medical conditions such as diabetes, of course, cancers, heart disease, and Parkinson's. But more so than just those conditions, a lot of things that people don't think about are necessarily the secondary conditions. So these are the things that happen because you have diabetes, not things that were necessarily caused by your time in the military service. So for example, diabetes can cause things like, again, heart disease, stroke, kidney disease. They can cause some pretty significant nerve damage, neuropathy problems with your hands and your feet, that numbness and tingling that you might get. And so while those particular conditions may not necessarily be directly caused by your time in the military, we refer to them as secondary conditions. Because they're directly linked to your diabetes, we can then link them to your military service. All of this is just to say, if your loved one or you have been exposed to Agent Orange or any kind of toxic risk exposure while you served in the military, why don't you reach out to Bross & Frankel, where we get to work when you can't. We'll look through your conditions, not only those that are service-connected, but we can also identify any possible secondary service-connected issues, and our goal is just making sure you receive the compensation that you're owed.